Las metas de esta clase son aprender a conjugar el verbo acabar, poder usarlo en sus 6 formas y poder usarlo con un infinitivo para decir que alguien acaba de hacer algo. The goals of this lesson are to learn how to conjugate the verb acabar, to then be able to use it in its 6 forms in the present tense, and then be able to add an infinitive to the phrase we're going to learn, the kind of formula that uses this verb acabar, to say that someone has just done something, that you've just done something, or that something has just happened. It's a really useful way for us to say something about the recent past, like this just happened or I've just been to this place, but without actually needing to know how to use the perfect tense. If you know how to use the perfect tense already, well, this gives you another way of talking about the recent past that will make your Spanish sound more natural and more native. But for those of you that only know how to use the present tense at the moment, this will really open up the things you can talk about, the time frames that you can talk about, without really learning any new grammar. The AR verb endings we've learned previously, hopefully, for the present tense, will serve us for putting acabar, to have just done something, into the 6 forms. I've just done something, you've just done something, he, she, it have just done something, we, you plural, and they have just done something. So our AR verb endings, just take a moment to try and remember them, and let's go through. We've got o, as, a, amos, ais, an. O, as, a, amos, ais, an. So these are the endings that we can take off. If we take an infinitive like bailar, we can take off the AR and add an O, bailo, I dance, bailas, you dance. So we're removing the infinitive ending and sticking these on to put any regular AR verb into its 6 forms in the present tense. And that's what we're going to do next with the verb acabar. So with our new verb, acabar, to have just done something, that's neutral, the infinitive, it's not in any tense, no one's doing it, it's just to have just done something. We're now going to put it into the present tense in the 6 persons, the 6 grammatical persons of the verb. So we've got acabo, I have just, acabas, you singular, have just, so if you're talking to one person using you or tú in Spanish. Acaba, which is he, she, or it has just. We'd also use this for the singular they if someone identifies as non-binary. Acabamos, we have just. Acabáis, which is you plural. If I'm talking to a group of people using the vosotros or vosotras form, which is only used in Spain, I would say acabáis. Acabáis de ir al parque, have you guys just gone to the park? And finally, acaban, which means they have just, or if I'm in Latin America, this is the plural you, the ustedes form as well. Ustedes acaban de ir al parque? Did you guys, in the formal you, just go to the park? So to build the whole formula of how to say to have just done something, we need the verb acabar, and we need that in its 6 forms. We need the preposition de, and then we need an infinitive verb. Now, what's important here is to understand what an infinitive verb is. An infinitive verb is a neutral verb. In English it would be to something, so to dance, to go, to swim, to eat, to speak, to phone. Any verb in the to form is neutral, no tense, no person. In English, when we translate this into English, we're actually going to change that infinitive verb into a past participle, something in the past tense. So if I use the verb bailar, to dance, when I translate acabo de bailar into English, I'm going to translate it as I have just danced in the past tense, even though it's in the kind of neutral form in Spanish. So let's run through those 6 forms of acabar. Again, we've got acabo, I've just done something. Acabas, you've just. Acaba, he, she, or it has just. Acabamos, we have just. Acabáis, you plural have just. That's the Spanish form, only used in Spain, never used in Latin America. And finally, acaban, which means they have just, or in Latin America can also mean you all have just, you plural have just done something. Then we need de, which in English there's not really any translation for de in this context, we just need to remember to use it. And then we can use an infinitive verb like ir, the verb to go, but in this case I'd translate it as gone, because if I said acabo de ir, I mean word by word. If I look at acabo literally means I finish, de means of, ir means to go, so it would be I finish of to go. It makes no sense. That's why we need to think about this as a complete sentence. Acabo de ir, I have just, or I've just gone, because the verb is to go. We've got to think in English, what's the past participle for go? Gone. Okay, so you've got to do a bit of English thinking as well with this. Hacer, the verb to do, so in this case we've got to change it to done. Acabas de hacer tus deberes, have you just done your homework? Visitar, to visit. Acabamos de visitar los abuelos. We've just visited my grandparents. Comer, to eat. Mis padres acaban de comer pizza. My parents, or my dads, just ate pizza. Escribir, to write. Mi esposa me acaba de escribir un mensaje. My wife has just written a message to me. Me acaba de escribir un mensaje. Or I could say, acaba de escribirme un mensaje. That may, we can move it around. It's flexible. That's called a direct or indirect object pronoun, which is something for another video. And ver, which is the verb to watch. In this case, past participle would be watched or seen, because it's also the verb to see. Acabo de ver una película. I have just seen, or I've just watched a film. So we've now got an opportunity to practice this by doing some translations. We need our 6 forms again. Let's run through them, because the more I repeat them, the more you repeat them in your head or out loud, the better chance you have of it going into your long-term memory. Acabo, acabas, acaba. Acabamos, acabáis, acaban. We've got o, as, a, amos, ais, an. Okay, the key to knowing this in its 6 forms is knowing those AR verb endings off by heart for the present tense. Number 1, I've just visited the castle. So you've got to think of, how do I say, I have just, and then look at which of those infinitive verb phrases is to visit the castle. 2, we've just eaten pizza. 3, my friends. So my friends, talking about a couple of people or a group of people, I'm going to use the they form of acabar. They've just played football. And then finally, you, in the singular you form, have just gone to the park. Take a moment, pause the video, write these down if you can, or if this is your Spanish homework, you can write it in your Spanish book. If not, just do them out loud to yourself. Try practicing that pronunciation, and when you're ready, hit play and we'll go through the answers. So the first one, I've just visited the castle. Acabo de visitar el castillo. 2. We've just eaten pizza. Acabamos de comer pizza. Número 3. My friends have just played football. Mis amigos, mis amigas, mis amigues, anyone depending on the gender of your friends. Obviously this is made up, so anyone will do. Acaban, in the they form, acaban de jugar al fútbol. Y número 4, el último. Acabas de ir al parque. Acabas de ir al parque. Hopefully you got those right. If you got them a bit wrong, maybe go back, rewatch bits of the video, make some more notes, do some more practice, because it's quite simple once you get the hang of it. The key is knowing those AR verb endings and remembering those 3 things. Acabar, in the right form of the verb, plus de, plus an infinitive verb. Just a quick reminder to hit that like button. It's just a click of a button or a tap of the screen for you, but it really means a lot to me and it helps me to know which videos people have found most useful. And if you haven't already done so, please do hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of the future videos that I'll be posting.